All right, guys, welcome. We're going to talk today. Today's video is going to be in response to in response to a specific person's questions. However, it's applicable to anybody that's considering doing one of the two communities, either RVing or sailboating. Both very interesting, very challenging, very fun expressions. But what the gene is expressing. So what we have is the human life cycle. There is inside of every animal on this planet a system that is measuring for our species' energies. Not at the grocery store, not at the farm, not in your fucking fridge, where you live. Inside of the fence where you live, your body is measuring for your species' energy. Plants with fruits and vegetables, animals being kept as meat. Not your pets, animals being kept to be clear. That doesn't mean you have to eat those animals. They have to be present. And then we have to partake in the human life cycle. Every time you take a shit, you're losing 10 billion microorganisms. 1,000 different species, and every one of those species has a job inside of your body. We cannot live without these microorganisms, but what happens when you're living reciprocal with a water treatment plant is every time you take a shit, you're down 10 billion, and then 10 billion, and then 10 billion, and then 10 billion, and soon you cannot feel happiness, because happiness, serotonin, is a chemical that's manufactured by a microorganism called lactobacillus. We've got lots of different lactobacillus, but we're just going to say lactobacillus for just that word by itself, right? We could name each one of these guys, but they've already been named, and they're great big names. So we're going to keep things simple so that it doesn't hurt your brains. Lactobacillus has to be present in your tummy. He has to have protein in your tummy. He's going to eat the protein, and he's going to shit serotonin, which is human happiness. We're going to now store this serotonin so that we can inject this into your bloodstream at the appropriate time. Americans are not experiencing happiness because they've gotten rid of lactobacillus. Instead of having this reciprocal relationship with the soil, with the plants, with the microorganisms, they have a reciprocal relationship with a water treatment plant. When the microorganisms go to the water treatment plant, we use chlorine, chloramine, bromine to kill all of them. And so there's nothing returning. You living in your life cycle looks like that poop going into the soil with the beautiful microorganisms. This guy has been evolving with us for billions of years. His job, he has evolved, is to turn fucking sunlight into carbohydrate. This guy's so fucking cool. He's making oxygen. You're exhaling a poisonous gas. That's his energy. He's inhaling that and then exhaling your fucking oxygen. So beautiful. However, also, he's putting sugar into the soil. You're putting the microorganism into the soil. What we then see, what we then see is a genesis of those microorganisms. You're the donor, you're the beginning, goes down in here, meets the sugar, warm, dark place, something to eat. This is a cruise ship for microorganisms. They're not doing their job right now. They're on fucking vacation. They get in the soil. They have the all-you-can-eat buffet, and they do some fucking. And we go from 10 billion to 50 trillion to 100 trillion microorganisms of each of these species inside of this soil. Very beautiful, because they then begin doing the exact same beneficial job inside of the soil that they were doing inside your tummy. And now we see extreme health in this soil. But when a human poops and pees, you're actually pooping and peeing perfect fertilizer: calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, nitrogen, everything that the ground needs, everything that the plants needs is coming out of you. You're trying to buy harsh chemical fertilizers at the store. You're having to wrest farmlands because you're raping this land. Everything is supposed to be coming back. Everything is supposed to be going in a circle. And so, these guys are going to take up water. This water, because it's in a life cycle with you, is going to have calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, nitrogen, protein, carbohydrate, everything that the soil needs, everything that the plant needs, and the microorganisms. This now wealth of microorganism is going to be taken up into the tree. These microorganisms do the same beneficial jobs in the tree. What we call this group of microorganisms in our tummy is a microbiome. A tree has a microbiome, necessary microbiome, in the trunk, in the bark, in the fruit, in the leaves, in the seed. There is a to-go pack of every single microorganism that guy's gonna need. So fucking beautiful. The exact same thing happens in the birth canal. We have stored every single microorganism this new child is going to need throughout its entire life. If we do a C-section, we're going to take some of the liquid from the birth canal and put it on the child. Necessarily, we will not see health if we don't have these microorganisms. And yet, that's one of the only times in medicine where we acknowledge the benefit. The rest of the time we're saying, hey, let's get this one microorganism and kill all of the rest. Let's constantly just be filling ourselves full of preservative. All of those foods that you're buying at the grocery store have preservative, which is antibiotic. It kills 100% of microorganisms. You're washing your hands with all these shit products that say right on them, hey, I killed 99.9% of the things that make human happiness, human motivation, human Viagra, human Wegovy. The liquid inside of your cranium has to be changed 100% every fucking day, or your brain is sitting in its own waste. Your brain is this huge computer producing waste. And if we do a CT scan on almost any American, we're going to see milkiness instead of clarity, because this lifestyle does not work. We have to have a system of returning these microorganisms. And so the last step is you caring for the plant, eating food from the plant, is returning this level of microorganisms to where you're always just brimming over. If you're paying for happiness, if you're paying for Ozempic, if you're paying for your sex, nitric oxide, that should be present. In developing countries, 90-year-olds are experiencing erections 24 hours a day for free. It's not until we put the human inside of this disgusting reciprocal relationship with the water treatment plant that we suddenly start needing to buy all of these chemicals that we had never-ending supplies of for the duration of our life. Now, the body is making two prime decisions. Your body, let's use a fox as an example. We've studied foxes and wolves and mice a lot, and so what we've noticed is that if we reduce, let's say for foxes, these particular foxes' main diet is lemons. Depends on where you're at, but that's a real common one. Foxes and lemons. They studied them for hundreds of years. What will happen is, if we reduce the amount of acreage for lemmings to do their sweet thing. The foxes have a system built in, automated system, that is going to measure the amount of food and decide whether or not they're going to procreate this year. Pretty fucking cool, right? You have the exact same system inside of you. These wolves are not going around and taking a lemming survey, a lemming census. They're not then having a wolf town meeting and saying, hey, these are the numbers. We gotta stop procreating. This is an automated system in wolves. Your DNA is almost unrecognizably different than any of these other animals. The idea that we've come from another planet, that we have been made by some god 4,000 or 5,000 years ago as a separate thing was shit created by the shit churches to separate you from this first-person relationship with nature, where you see physical changes when you change the energies, the number of energies you have on site where you live. You're going to see genetic changes, you're going to see mental changes, and for millions of years we had a first-person relationship where we saw those things. The church developed this method of telling us to clasp our hands and look up in the sky, so we stop paying attention to right here in order to make themselves wealthy. It was a shit trick, and we've absolutely got to undo this. But like the wolves, your body is counting the energies where you live. Let's call this your fence. Where you live, your body is counting, not the farm, not the grocery store, not the dead refrigerator. We're counting live energies. Dead food in a fridge is, for millions of years, already rotted. If it's off of the tree, that's not equity for tomorrow. That's not food supplies for tomorrow. That's dead. It's not being counted. What's being counted is in the plant still, on the hoof, so to speak. How much meat is on the hoof available for your family? Your body is counting that and then making evolutionary decisions based on that. The two prime decisions are right to life and right to procreate. And so, if you have enough human energies inside of your fence, your voice inside of your head, your right hemisphere, the thing that the church has taught you to fear. 5,000 years ago, some chick ate an apple, and now you're walking around with evil inside of you. Original sin is lurking inside of you, and you need to be scared. Sigmund Freud said that there's something inside of you that wants to have sex with your mother, that's seeing penises everywhere. Males just seeing penises everywhere. Of course, he was smacked out of his tits on cocaine and heroin at the time. However, he didn't really focus on that. Most of America just adopted that. And now we've got this lurking thing inside of us that wants us to have gay sex or sex with our mothers or something of this nature, just exacerbating what the church had already done. That's a load of shit. The right half of your brain, the one that you consider to be the spooky part, is an awesome thing. It's what's making your heart beat. If you get knocked unconscious, there shouldn't be anything inside of you able to keep your heart beating. This motherfucker is so cool. He is evolved to be, even under those circumstances, keeping you breathing, keeping your heart beating, making 1,000 other decisions based on information. We've got thousands of sensors all over our body. We're collecting information. We're making decisions. This is a self-diagnosing, self-healing machine. It's fucking amazing. However, if we do not have this, if we've started living off of grocery food, shit packaged in plastic with antibiotics inside of the package so it can sit on the shelf for years at a time, the first decision is we do not have the right to live here. We've got to get this body inside of the earth. Now we call this state, I did just bite my tongue again. Let me just take a sip of this. In science, we call this state first death. In first death, second death is imminent. We have not gotten good at making Americans healthy. We've only gotten good at keeping them from actually dying. If somebody's having regular heart attacks, we build a defibrillator inside of their heart so that their own body will be defibrillated out of this cardiac arrested situation. That's a cool feat, but we didn't heal that person. We just caused that fatty not to enter the soil. And the goal of the body is for your body to get into the soil. Your body's freaking out right now saying, hey, there's no energies here. We got to get in the soil. What we consider to be the normal human life, reality, where the voice inside of your head is saying, hey, exercise is fucking hard, yo. I'm not about that. If you try to do it, it's going to say, hey, you got an injury. Other people are capable of this, you're not capable of this. We should sit down and eat some treats. Your version of treats is going to be very different from an evolving person's idea of treats. Your treats are going to be carbohydrates, preservatives, shit that's going to put your body in the soil. That's not the natural human state. That's the natural human state in America, but that's 341 million dead people. This lifestyle does not work. Even the farmers are eating shit. They're growing soybeans and corn, but they're not part of the life cycle, and that corn is being exported to make gas and shit out of it. It's not even an edible one. If it is edible corn, most of our stuff is actual food is being imported, but even if it is, it's being fed by chemicals. We're not taking part in this. Microorganisms are not going in a circle and returning to us, and so those farmers are not going to be in this life cycle still. Now, a person can very much trust what's going on in that right hemisphere. Your left hemisphere is who you consider to be you. When you have a full idea on it and you hear a second idea, most people would be kind of creeped out. Hey, who the fuck is that? There's whole cults, self-awareness cults. I've woken up, I'm awake now, because I realize that the voice inside of my head is not me. But one of them very much is you. Your ideas are your ideas. There is a second set of ideas inside of your head. This ancient, amazing right hemisphere also has some ideas. Those ideas are 100% of the time going to align with the goal of the body. If we have no right to procreate, if we have no right to life, then the ideas are going to say, hey man, let's fucking hit that gym tomorrow. Busy as shit today. Stressed out today, man. I'm going through this one-off situation that requires me to not work out and eat some extra carbohydrates, and then there's going to be one more and one more and one more of those. It's still very philanthropic, altruistic, because its goal is the health of the species. Everyone thinks that the number one goal of your genes is self-preservation, and that's 100% true. But preservation of the species and of the land that supports us, of which we cannot live without. And so, if you gotta go, we've got 8 billion more of us. And quite frankly, we can't sustain more than 3 billion, and so 5 billion gots to go. That's why I don't push this point too hard, because what's being done is necessary. However, if you don't want to take part in that extinction, it's a choice. The reason your body is saying those things is because it's trying to off you. Very beautiful still, but if you want to change this destiny for you or any of your loved ones, all we have to do is take part in the human life cycle again. Now let's bring it on over to our kind of topic for the day, which is, what are we expressing when our body says to us, hey, I'm not finding what I want here. I think maybe I'll find what I want if I go for a journey. What's our body longing for? What are we not finding that's fulfilling us where we're at, that's making us want to go do something else? And what are we going to find? So more than likely, what I saw in traveling from the entire country, from Canadian waters to Mexican waters, and then continued on to other countries, was I traveled the entire length of the United States at 6 miles an hour. At a very conservative rate, stopping every single day, getting off the boat to resupply and repair, chill out with people. I went to restaurants in every single town and did a bunch of cardio in every single town. Got to know some cool people in every single town. Supported some cool local shops in every single town. Everywhere I'm oftentimes buying shit that I just didn't need, just to be able to support those local people and then kind of get some scientific information, some scientific feedback. What are you guys eating? What are the kids' education style? Have we got species-specific energy, where we're housing these children, where we're educating these children, just getting some real basic information, and then seeing the populace. What are these people looking like? Americans do not look like human beings. These people down here, about 50% of them absolutely look like human beings. The exact 50% that are still living in the human life cycle. Now, if we're traveling around America, we can kind of not hope to see anything new. Everybody's dead, top to bottom, guys. 5,000 miles I went in 1 year, and I didn't see any signs of life whatsoever. Everybody's housing their children at the house the same way. Everybody's educating their children in the same dead spaces in the schools. Not saying the schools are dead, however, they're causing death. That can be repaired by simply repairing the math. We probably don't have one food-bearing tree in most schools. Grass is an energy for cows. So the children's bodies cannot measure species-specific energy in an area that's just got cement, rocks, LED lighting, and grass, asphalt, whatever. So we're seeing the same thing. But what is your body more than likely expressing? More than likely, what your body is expressing is, hey, let's leave the safety. Right now, you know where the safety shit is in your city. You know how to get a hold of the police. You know what to expect from the police. People that live around you, see you on a regular basis, say hi to you, would know if you were missing. Going into these new cities, you're watching the news every day. The highlight of the news yesterday was couple murders other couple and dismembers them for entertainment on their honeymoon. That was one of them. The whole rest of it was people having sex with children, getting caught, but just seeing, hey, we didn't catch them. We're just seeing how huge this movement is, how many people are normalizing this. And your body is saying, hey, let's get out there. Let's go out. There's going to be lots of great stuff on the highways, on the back roads, on the rivers of America where this heinous shit is going down. From this perspective, what do you feel like your body is trying to get done, right? That's you're taking yourself from a low probability of death, of finishing what your right hemisphere has started, to moving that bar significantly. Let's move on to what you're going to find. You see how we're doing on time. This amazing cat. All right. I got so much fucking work today. But you guys are super important to me. What you're going to find, what I found, these two communities are very similar. An RV is just a sailboat with a bigger motor, and a sailboat is just an RV that can move without gas. Not free though. These are both money pits. It doesn't matter if you buy a brand new $350,000 RV, you're going to be dumping some money into that thing. You're going to be finding things breaking, and they're going to be one-off brand new things not tested that are going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to fix where? In some remote ass location. If you buy an older RV, you're sure the fuck also going to be doing some repairs, probably more part availability, probably be talking about more reasonable mechanics, but you're probably talking about, quite a few failures as well, if you're going to be driving thousands of miles. Sailboat, exact same thing. Motorboat, 1 mile per gallon. If you can afford that, great. I'm probably not talking to you. You're probably not watching me. I'm a relatable person too. Not to the people that can afford 1 mile per gallon, which is not a weird sum either. That's for a very small power bank. That's for a medium-sized RV. This is going to be an expensive adventure. I went for the sailboat, 1969 36-foot Columbia, classic. Every sailor dreamed of that boat at one point. An amazing ocean-going vehicle. It's got 2 solar panels on it, all the power that you could ever use. We've got a 110 washer, 110 compressor, 110 microwave, huge 110 fans just like this one. Everybody else has these little 12-volt things limping by, cooling off one little section of their body. And so 110 refrigeration, everything is just normal on our boat. Massive bathroom, massive comfortable bathroom with tankless hot water heaters and commercial range, so we can actually cook real dinners that had more than 2 things going on. It was a blast, absolute blast. However, we're able to stay connected here because for a lot of people, this is the same thing. This is a very antiseptic environment. We've got no plants. We have no source of filtering our poisonous gases that we're exhaling, and source of oxygen while we sleep. We're going to button this thing up, kick on the old air conditioner, and just hotbox ourselves to death, which is what's going on in America. That's what's going on with your kid that has allergies when you're closing this room up for 6 months at a time for the cold season with 0 plants in it. That kid's just hotboxing itself with carbon dioxide. If you put a human in any closed space, you're simply breathing the oxygen. Breathing in all of the oxygen and breathing out poison. The idea that oxygen is coming from the other side of the world is fucking moronic. If your kid's in a box with 3 pane windows, he is suffocating and it's not a chronic illness. You're doing that to your kid. That's nasty. We have to be responsible for giving the energies to our children and to our bodies if we have any anticipation of having health. But if you get off of the boat and get into the water and do some spearfishing, a lot of times you're going to find out you're sailing on top of a wealth. Your new medium is water instead of soil. The human medium is soil. However, if you're getting in that water and doing some spearfishing and seeing, holy shit, I'm surrounded by unlimited human energies, unlimited fish, and all these different, I can literally go grocery shopping and pick which thing am I going to have. Am I going to have lobster? Am I going to have crabs? Am I going to have snapper? Am I going to have trout? Anything I want is available down there. So you have very different perspectives, and your body's going to respond to that. So two people could be living next door in the same sailboats and experiencing first death and evolution depending on their perspective. They're getting in the water and exposing their body to all of these human energies versus beer cans and cigarettes. Two people next to each other are going to have two very different realities and very different evolutionary paths. Very, very interesting stuff. However, the RV, of course, is going to be, it's going to be a fucking highway. You're not really going to have the opportunity to do that. However, let's move past that to the other people you're going to find on this journey. What I did not know is that this was basically just a bunch of creepy swingers. So I'm getting off of the boat every day and going for a big run without a shirt on. And the normal response, the response that I started getting pretty regularly was like, oh, thank God you're here. We're all having sex with these creepy, ugly people. And God, you're here, with this anticipation that I've landed, and now I'm just going to be exercising and having sex with a bunch of creepy, fat old people. And I'm going, okay, good luck with that. I'm going to go to the restaurant, get some awesome grub, try to get exposed to some of these awesome local people, but without getting too creeped out, and then get back to this boat, get some good sleep for a nice 4 a.m. start the next day. For the most part, most of these people were buying boats and then finding emergencies. Oh man, I've heard the battery exploded so many times, it seems impossible. And it's each time it's, the battery exploded. And you're like, okay, so then you swapped out the battery. What happened then? You're like, no, then we had to do this and this and this. This cost all these things. And we've been in the same spot for 30 years because the battery exploded all of this time back. Someone just found a good person that did upholstery, so they stopped immediately, prepared for this journey for 40 years straight, got a couple of towns up, and then said, what, you do upholstery? Let's just stay here for another decade getting this upholstery done. There were just ridiculous excuses in every town for these people that have been stuck for decades. Surprisingly, when you get all the way down to the Florida Keys, you're thinking, God damn, these people did it. they finally got out of their, all these little podunk town places and got down there. You get down there, Bookie Hill and stuff like that. Super cool, super beautiful water, fucking dolphins. But what you find as soon as you get into the RV and the boating communities is that this same birds on a wire have been there for 30 years. And they're all saying, come over here, I'm going to tell you the story about sailing. And you're like, how, dude? You've been here for 30 years. I'm like, yeah, before that, though, I went everywhere. and now I'm just boring the shit out of people, trying to tell the story instead of getting back out there and doing some cool ass sailing. So it was difficult to leave initially. The people I bought the boat from bought the boat, and the two of them together at would have been like 41, 42 years old, bought the boat, and then prepared every year for 42 years. They prepared this boat to go down the Mississippi, to take the trip I did. Part of the condition of me buying the boat was I had to take the boat down the Mississippi, but I was already taking the boat down the Mississippi, which is what they prepared for 42 years straight. Every year they said, we're out of here. And so I'm at the marina getting the boat ready to take it down the Mississippi, and everybody in the marina is doing the exact same thing. Not one person left. I was the only one that left, and then the people at the marina freaked out. They're telling me, hey, this is dangerous, you're not prepared, you're going to die. A bunch of people started texting me, hey, your car's in the way. My Hummer was parked completely out of the way. There was room in this road for 4 other cars to pass at the exact same time. There were 4 more car widths. And then these people were all saying, hey, you have to park the boat and come back here to move this car. This is you can't just do this. And I'm saying, hey, the keys are in the car. You want the car forward, backwards, in a different area of the parking lot, move the fucking car. But I obviously just left the keys in the car for you guys to move around. Some nice old man, well, my direct next door neighbor, just took the car to his house because the people were fussing it up. So what you're going to find, polygamy is not some, hey, you're a gay person, so you're a bad person. If we have too many people in the world, 2 people of the same sex just going and chilling out together is kind of the most beautiful expression you could have to resolve that problem. And so certainly not an anti-gay channel or group in any way, shape, or form. However, polygamy is what you're going to see to avoid procreation. We call this shunning mating opportunity. In all of our experiments with animals, we see them suddenly shunning mating opportunity. The girl is feeling shunned, the guy is feeling shunned at the same time. They're both walking away from the situation saying, hey man, that was it. That should have been the thing. Why didn't she like me? And the girl's walking away feeling the same thing. All the things that you were thinking were psychological are genetic expressions. Your body has said, hey, we cannot make a child here. There is no right to life here. There's no energies for these children. We're going to die. The children are going to die. We're going to watch our own offspring die. We have to shun mating opportunities. So what you're going to see is in these communities is just a bunch of swingers. The best way for a group of people to kill themselves is through disease. So we're going to see this in the animal experiments. We're going to see this with humans. Hypersexuality. Heterosexual sex is just not a really good way of passing diseases. It's just not how it's set up. It's meant to pass a single thing, and unless you've got 2 people that have active cuts on the genitals at the same time, unprotected heterosexual sex just isn't a great way to do that. However, if we exacerbate this, the areas around the genitals that are not being protected during protected sex, if we have enough sex, if somebody regularly has sex 4 or 5 times a day, we're going to see a redness that we're going to perceive as just a hue, but if we were to bust out with a microscope, we're going to see that that's actual blood. as a course of natural course of healing. That blood has made its way outside. It's doing some super awesome jobs. However, we suddenly see this ease of passing these diseases. And so in these communities, you're going to find a bunch of people that are typically using drugs that people would think of as hard, but they're suddenly considering these drugs to be, weekend drugs, passive drugs, lighter drugs. So crack and meth and things that you go, whoa, 911, that's red flag. These people are now going, hey, this is, chill out, this is good. And then accompanied with just a hypersexuality that causes this passing of these diseases quite a bit, becomes quite a bit more effective. And then people just getting drunk and fighting every single day, which is, of course, a very quick way to reduce the hurt. These people are saying, hey, you had this inappropriate sex, you use too much of the drugs or alcohol or money or whatever. We've now got to fight this out. This isn't the nature of human beings. This is a genetic solution being expressed. These people don't have any. Tomorrow, this stuff isn't going to be worth fighting about, worth killing each other, worth risking your life for. But today, this is the most important thing in the world. You didn't use your turn signal. That's the last time. That's the last time. And the other person is saying, it can't be the last time. We've never met, weirdo. This can't be the last time. The time that I pushed you over the edge. Because we've never met. This is built up inside of you. This right hemisphere is telling you, hey, I'm going to hurt this person because they pushed me to this point, when of course you've never met that person, so they can't be responsible for that anger. But the right hemisphere is going to very successfully convince you, hey, right now this is necessary because we've got a job. And so that's what you're going to find town after town after town. You're going to meet a nice older couple. They're going to ask you to come over and check out their boat. And you're going to say, oh, cool, man. I like to get to know these awesome people, the cool school teachers that I bought the, the boat from. Got to know them a little bit. Taking them out for a couple of sails after we finished the purchase and things like that. And they turned out to be creepy, but let's check out these other people. And then these people slowly work up the nerve to tell you that they're still having sex and are looking for other people to join them in their creepy 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 80-year-old sex parties or whatever. And you're thinking, without being a dick, how the fuck do I get off of this goddamn boat and stop trusting these, with that level of trust, just a smidge per town? Just one of the signals they use is pineapples. So if you go somewhere, he's wearing pineapple pants, or they have a pineapple RV mat outside, or whatever, that's one of the signals. Or if they use couple names. The couple names is also saying, on their social media is also saying, if they've got a pineapple somewhere on their social media and they're using a couple name, that's your signal that these guys are swingers and actively looking today, right now, for some people to take part in having sex while they watch, having sex and participating, just the weirdest shit you can imagine. Which is fine if you're, everybody is walking into this going, hey man, this is a place where swingers meet, but if you're not a swinger and you're thinking of walking into a neutral place, you're not. You're not. These people are all looking for the exact same thing. And one of their openers is those creepy swingers over there. 100% guarantee you, those people that are saying those creepy swingers over there are watching your reactions very closely to see if there's an open door there or not. So, but there's nothing, we're not saying so those people are bad. This mathematics, which is probably being exacerbated by their new lifestyle. And initially, what you're looking for is, I'm not finding something in America at my house that I feel I need. Let me go somewhere else and look for it, is what the left half is being convinced of. The right half is, of course, trying to find a pathway to your death, increasing the likelihood of you dying to repair humanity. Philanthropy, we're trying to repair, to save the species by reduction of the species. Is this expression all the way through? It's always philanthropic. It's always beautiful. However, to get this done, that right half is going to convince your left half, we're going to find this. We're not going to find this in America. That's 341 million dead people. You're going to find creepiness, scariness, drugs, hypersexuality, and disease-ridden people, regardless of how much money these people have. It's the same. I've hung out with massive yachts. Everybody is just, the drug people call it scrugging. We're not making love, we're not making some huge connection. Every time we've got a little bit of privacy, we're just pounding our genitals together, getting something done that we don't really know what the goal is. It just seems extremely important to pound these genitals together. And so it's kind of appropriate to call it scrugging instead of anything meaningful to humanity. But what you can do, whether you jump on a sailboat, is repair this relationship, this pathway, so that the things that you're saying, hey, I'm missing, my sex is gone, my happiness is gone, my purposefulness is gone, my contentment is gone. When somebody takes Wegovy or Ozempic, they're suddenly feeling contentment for eating. It doesn't make us incapable of eating, it makes us content. You're going to eat a normal amount of food and feel contentment, because normally humans that are full of microorganisms have a microorganism that makes Ozempic. So normally, for millions of years, humans eat and they feel contentment. You're not feeling content. You want to go searching for contentment. You can only find contentment in repairing this relationship to these microorganisms. However, if you do that, then jump on a sailboat, it's kick-ass. There's nothing like, kind of motoring out of a situation, getting the sails set up, and then turning off that motor and letting that wind push you, and just hearing the wah, wah, wah. Just the beautiful sound of that boat swishing through those waves 100 times. I sat on the bow of my boat with the sails set perfectly and had tuna or dolphins swimming next to me because there's no sound of the motor. They think this is a big ass fish, and so I'm just, of course, just blown away because I'm in this relationship. And so when I see dolphins swimming next to a boat, I become extremely emotional. Already content, now my mind is blown. My entire life, when I see a tree, I just stop and am in awe of this tree. I'm seeing the bees, I'm seeing the pollination, I'm seeing the birds, I'm seeing the ants, and everybody else around me is going, go let it. Dumbass, that's just a tree, dude. You know, there's huge titties over here. There's monster trucks over here. There's explosions over here. There's drugs over here, and I'm just stuck on this tree because my body is full of that feeling of contentment. When I see a mom with her babies, I freak out every single time. My body becomes so full of joy, of endorphins. You know, I'm doing 3 hours of exercise and other people are going, why is he torturing himself? Humans were full of endorphins for millions of years, and so when we ran, we got these rushes of amazing human drugs that have no price, no side effects, just good ones. And so 3 hours of exercise isn't a chore that I'm doing. It's my favorite part of the day, the entire time. Where an American is doing cardio going, oh man, when is this going to be? That's my favorite part of the day, but there isn't a part of that that's my favorite part. There isn't a part of that where I'm like, oh man, I wish I was to the easy part. It's a 4,000 foot incline from sea level to 4,000 feet, then from 4,000 feet to sea level, then turn back around and go back up 4,000 feet again. And there's no point where I'm like, oh, finally. The whole part of it is my favorite part because the microorganisms in my tummy are giving me all of these huge, vast amount of happiness and motivation and excitement, beautiful human emotions that all of us would feel if these disgusting pharmaceutical companies weren't benefiting from us living from this. You're paying for your heart-ons. You're paying for your orgasms. You're paying for your Wegovy. You're paying for your serotonin. You're paying for your motivation, or you don't have it. And that's where they want you. That's very profitable. Guys, that's my time. You guys are super important to me. I'm going to do this again tomorrow. Yeah, I got to get to work.